Hello, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of you know that I'm not one that gets political, at least not when it comes to stuff like this. But this is something that I feel the need to speak about. And before anyone asks, yes, I am a very big, still am, I'll put it that way, a very, very big Charlie Kirk supporter. And I know I have a few people who live overseas who don't know who he is. So I'll kind of give you guys a little bit about him, or at least a little bit, and then I'm going to talk about what this says, how he died, and we're going to talk about it. So Charles James Kirk, October 14th, 1943 to September 10th, 2025, that was today, was an American right-wing political activist, author, and media personality. He co-founded the conservative organization Turning Point USA in 2012 and was its executive director. He was the chief executive officer, CEO, of Turning Point Action and a member of the Council for National Policy. The Washington Post described him as one of the most prominent voices on the right in his later years. Alright guys, I'm back. So I've already kind of read, I'm sorry it took so long, I was talking to my mom. I've already read who Charlie Kirk was, so I'm going to give the details as they stand right now as to what happened. It says on September 10th, 2025, while on stage at Utah Valley University for Turning Point USA, the event known as the American Comeback Tour, Kirk was shot fatally in the neck. The shooting took place at 12:20 p.m. MDT, 20 minutes after the event began. Footage recorded at the moment of the shooting shows him recoiling while speaking and blood pouring from his neck. A university spokesperson later stated that a suspect was in custody, but the person was determined not to be the shooter. Kirk was taken to the hospital, where he died later that day at age 31. His death was publicly announced by the U.S. President Donald Trump at 4:40 p.m. EDT, Eastern Daylight Time, on a post on Truth Social, and was later confirmed by Kirk's spokesperson. Now I'm going to kind of take after somebody whom I just watched a short with, and honestly, I agree with this wholeheartedly. You know, you guys know I've talked bad about a buttload of people and stuff, different politicians and stuff before. This is considered, at this moment, an assassination, because Kirk was a political face. It's considered an assassination by most, including me. I do not understand why it is that in today's society you cannot publicly disagree with somebody without the fear of being shot. What kind of person are you if you think the best way to solve an issue is to take a rifle, which was, from what I understand, from what else I've read, he was shot from 200 yards off. So I'm assuming it was a rifle. Take a rifle and end somebody's life because of the fact that you disagree with something that they say, or everything that they say, whatever the case may be. All right. You're not mentally stable if you do this. If you go from and you go to something like this and you disagree with somebody, just walk away. Don't be the person that does that. I'll be the first person to tell you guys this came as a shock to me. Because out of all the people that I would have figured people would have targeted, I never would have figured Charlie Kirk would have been somebody that they would have went after. Now, I'm not gonna try and say that Charlie Kirk is a hero or anything like that. He was just an honest man, a Christian man, speaking what he believed in, and he was gunned down for it. As a Christian, It enrages me. And as a human being, it enrages me. But what enrages me more is the fact that the left, immediately after it happened, left supporters, for those of you who don't understand what the left is, Democratic supporters, you know, LGBTQ and trans people, I don't know if furries would have been in on this or not, I don't know. But most of those people are the people that go with the left because the fact that they're patting them on the head and telling them it's okay if they want to do that. And they were immediately posting on TikTok and other websites how happy they were that Charlie Kirk is dead. And it just goes to show the point that has been made multiple times. The left has absolutely no heart. They do not care. I'm sorry, but I don't care who you are. You don't celebrate somebody's death like that. Of course, shot in the back. It just, I don't try to get political. I don't try to be somebody like Charlie Kirk. I don't. I don't try to read up on this stuff. I don't try to read up on the stuff that Charlie Kirk did. But seeing somebody who is more concerned with the benefit of my country getting better instead of getting worse like the left wants, it enrages me. There's just not words. Like I'm not in tears or anything like that, but there are no words to describe the disgust that I have for these people. You can bring yourself to take a man's life because of the fact that you disagree with something he says. What kind of person does that make you? Alright, I'll be the first one to tell you guys. I've disagreed with a lot of people. There was one thing I disagreed with Charlie Kirk on. But I wouldn't go so far as to want to kill him. Because the fact that, like a human being, we disagreed on something. Oh, reload. I'm not really in the mood to talk right now. But it is honestly a sad day for everybody, I believe, because Charlie Kirk was the only person that had the guts to stand up for what he believed in and stand firm to that and not let people tell him what he could and could not believe in. I've tried to do the same thing, and for the most part, I've done so. Ah, yes. Let's bring out the biplanes, boys. I can't get this plane turned around in time. No, not tonight. It's not really. Oh well, I got an aircraft kill. I'm okay with that. Yeah. I'm not full aware on the details of what happened. I have honestly no idea what really transpired there. All I can give you guys is what I know. And right now, that is all I know, is that Charlie Kirk was basically shot while doing what he did and doing what I believe he enjoyed doing, which was talking to the youth of America and getting their viewpoint on things. Not many people take that much care into that stuff, and the fact that I find out that someone has the audacity to murder someone because the fact that you simply disagree with something that they do, it pisses me off. It does. Like, physically, it pisses me off, because you are a coward at that point. How can you take a man, all right, even if, all right, and this is I will give you guys my perspective on this. Even if I was on the side of the left, and if I hated Charlie Kirk, I would have enough of a moral value, I would hope, to realize this man has 2 children and a wife that absolutely love him. To take him away from them is more heartless than shooting him, in my opinion. Now, those 2 little girls are never going to grow up with a father. The wife is never going to have somebody to cry on, or never going to have that person that she can depend on to have to cry on their shoulder. All right, I lost my dad 3 years ago, and you guys all know this at this point. I lost my dad 3 years ago. I still haven't recovered from it. I don't think I ever will. But to see somebody kill a man, it enrages me. It makes me want to take them and shake them and just ask them how they could do that. Now, do I agree that we should be celebrating Charlie Kirk and, you know, basically putting out big news about him and all of this when there are crimes that are happening, people are dying every day? No, I will still stick to that. I will still stick to the idea that I don't think, and you know, as somebody who kind of paid attention to Charlie Kirk for a while, he didn't seem like the kind of man that if he died, or in the event of his death, I don't think he would want to be widely celebrated. I don't believe that he would want people to mourn him for decades to come. He was standing for what he believed was right, and he was murdered for it. I believe he would want justice, but I don't believe he would want people to mourn him for all eternity. Charlie Kirk is not that man. Now, I'll be the first person to tell you guys it enrages me. Please reload, please reload, please reload. Oh, he's aiming at me. I'm dead. Oh, nope. Yep, I'm dead. Okay, we're good for now. Just, my message is more of a question, I guess. And the question is simple. How can you kill somebody in cold blood? But the question is answered pretty simply, too. You can if you don't care. You can if you don't have a heart. The man or woman, since we don't know, who shot Charlie Kirk was a coward. And they had no heart. They were part of what people call the tolerable left. But yet the tolerable left always seems to be the ones that are killing people. They always seem to be the ones that are hating on others when we speak out against what they decide that they want to do, but they think that they have the right to speak out against what we as Christians or we as people who don't have a mental instability it enrages me. It really does. And I honest God, hope that not only does the FBI find this person that killed Charlie Kirk, but I hope that they make them pay the ultimate price. A life for a life. Today, the most biggest rule that Christians should live by was violated. And unfortunately, there have been men that have went to war and have broken this rule before. Thou shalt not kill. Charlie Kirk was a Christian, and he represented the best Christians. To see him murdered in front of thousands, those people, everyone that was there close enough to see what happened, they're not gonna unsee that. They're gonna go to sleep every night and they're gonna remember watching the person they looked up to bludgeoned to death by a bullet. They're going to remember watching the man bleed to death while they could do nothing. They're going to remember that forever. Tank, front. Thank you. There's still the M44 issue. If I can get him to fire, it'd be great. So that you could at least get an idea as to where he is. Oh my. Okay, hold that thought. You said behind. Oh, I see him. They're not there anymore, doofus. Oh, I see where he's at now, too. Back quarter there. But more or less, this is a memorial stream, and it is a message to Charlie Kirk's family and everything. Here down south, even though there was a comment that I did disagree with Charlie Kirk on being a Clemson fan instead of a Carolina fan, as I am. I did disagree with that statement that he made, and I did disagree with the statement that was made as well about artificial inseminations. But I loved the fact that he was trying to fix a broken America. I loved the fact that he was trying to fix something that ultimately people would say could not be fixed. I loved that. I loved the fact that he stood by his religion. A lot of men don't do that. And for that, Charlie Kirk, I believe, will be one of the most remembered people in history. He might end up even ending up in a history book or two, which is where he deserves to be, in my opinion. The Panzers are everywhere. Stay back. What? Okay, I'm so confused. Oh, dang it. I don't believe that Donald Trump will allow for anybody to erase Charlie Kirk. Because for the President of the United States to acknowledge this man and to acknowledge the fact that he was an important person, it shows you how much of an impact Charlie Kirk made on America. 31 years old. 31. Guys, I will be that old in 11 years. And I know for some of you, that's a long time. 31 years is too young. Far too young. God. I just honestly hope that he is remembered, because he made an impact in which people will never understand. I never, and I still don't, I've never been one that gets deep into politics or anything when it comes to, DEI and all this stuff. But when he brought it to attention, I always made an effort to look it up and figure out what exactly it was, what exactly it meant, what it did, and all of this, in an attempt to understand it. I honestly don't know what else I can say. Just pray for the family of Charlie Kirk, guys, because they're going to need it. They are desperately going to need the prayers, because as I said, the wife has lost a loving husband. And the daughters, well, they've lost a loving father. And I think that's what enrages me the most. I'll be the first one to admit with you guys that I would be very upset if something happened to Donald Trump. But him being in the standing that he is in, it honestly makes more sense to kill him rather than to kill Charlie Kirk. And you know, I'm hoping, just like the one gentleman that I was watching, I'm hoping that they're just misidentifying it, and that he's fine, or that he's just in critical condition. But to lose someone like that instead of something like a heart attack or natural causes, it makes people realize how evil people can be. People are pretty evil. People are pretty evil. Evil to the point where they don't care who they hurt. They kill without thinking about it. It's just, let me kill this, let me kill that. Anyway, guys, I'm not crying or anything, in case anybody's wondering. It is upsetting, though. It is upsetting to see a man like Charlie Kirk be murdered because of his difference in opinion. And I don't care what anyone says, that is exactly the reason why Charlie Kirk was murdered, assassinated, killed, however you want to look at it. That is exactly the reason why he was killed. Was because of the fact that he had a different opinion than the left. And because of the fact that he had the audacity and the know-how. He was once asked if he would ever run for president, if he was asked to, or if he would run for president. He goes, I don't want to run for president. I'm doing what I'm doing right now than I could ever do in the presidency. And he was not wrong. He was not wrong. He was doing way more where he was at than he ever could have in that presidency. And that, I think, is what boggles my mind, seeing people want so badly to kill him. And you know the funny thing, guys, the funny thing is, I was gonna go and I was going to get tickets to go and see him when he came to the South Carolina State University. I was actually going to order tickets and go, and I didn't. I said, there's always next time. Now there won't be a next time. I pray that his organization lives on for the sake of America. But my question now arises, who are they going to get to put in his place to do these debates? Are they going to get anyone to do these debates? Are they even going to continue with the debates? These questions arise now because of the fact a man was murdered. Questions that should not have to arise if a human being was not angry. Angry that somebody disagreed with them. Charlie Kirk was one of the most interesting guys I've ever watched on YouTube. And here's why. He pointed out numerous times what I've stated numerous times, that the LGBTQ movement was an illness. He stated numerous times that it was unchristian, and that it was just somebody trying to make themselves feel better about their own insecurities. And I'm not trying to make anybody go after me. But the last one I have to agree with the most. You're trying to make yourself feel better about your own insecurities by claiming that you're something you just physically cannot be. But I don't want to get on that subject. I don't want to make people hate me, and I'm not going to deal with anybody else coming after me. The insecurities are there. They're very obvious. That's all I'm going to say on that. And all I can say is I pray that the people that need the help that they need get it. And I pray for Charlie Kirk and his family, for they are about to go through a very, very rough time. I'm about to get intercepted. Drop the bomb, drop the bomb, drop the bomb. Okay, cool, I'm light. Stay away! Stay back! I'm on fire! Oh no, my wing. That's fine, it's supposed to be like that. Water! Yay! I put the fire out! Why in the world have you been crying all day, World War II? Hey, I think you got him.
You want what he's having? No. That's what I thought, Justice. Oh.
Emotional eulogy for Charlie Kirk from the Oval Office.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth. Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith, and we take comfort in the knowledge that he is now at peace with God in heaven. Our prayers are with his wife, Erica, the two young, beloved children, and his entire family, who he loved more than anything in the world. We ask God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain. This is a dark moment for America. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever. To share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country. Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before. And it's not even close. May God bless his memory. May God watch over his family. And may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
President Trump just released him.
World War II, I don't know what to tell you, because everything I tell you seems to go in one ear and right back out the other. I've told you to just stop trying so hard, to find somebody, to be patient. And as I just said, it goes in one ear and out the other. I don't know what else I can say. Also, guys, I'm probably going to make this my last thing because I have a few things I have to do before I can go to bed. And then tomorrow we will coincidentally be celebrating another tragedy that happened. September 11th, also known as 9/11. And we won't be really celebrating it, but we will be remembering it. I don't know how, but we will. I've never heard why or understood why it is kids joke about that. I mean, I've even seen people on YouTube that will joke about that. Like they'll post a picture, like they're flying towards two towers. And then they'll throw a picture of that up there and they'll mock it. And it's like, how heartless are you physically to do something like that? Come on, baby. Of course. A stupid wyvern. You know, World War II, I used to think the same thing. But you know who does give a shit? Yourself. At least I hope so. But anyway, guys, like I said, keep Charlie's family in your prayers. I'm honestly, I don't have the words to even begin to elaborate how I feel about the events that occurred today. But it is a tragedy, a tragedy for the right. I don't care what anyone else says. I believe it was the left that did it. The LGBTQ community supports the left. But I hope everybody has a lovely day. Remember Charlie Kirk. Keep his family in your prayers if you pray. And remember, you mess with the wolf,